All right, we're live.
Cool.
All right, hey everyone. I'm back here with Jeff Quinton. Jeff Quinton Hangout, and we're going over every month what's working for Jeff. So thanks for having me, Jeff. I appreciate being here, and yeah, man, I'm excited about today's topic because I think this is something that everyone in any business, not just real estate in general, they struggle with it. They really do. So, Jeff, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about what we're going to be covering, and then we'll just get into it, man. I'm gonna pepper you with tons of questions.
Okay, no, I appreciate it. Thanks again for joining today. What I think we should talk about today is about understanding the four personality styles, the four basic personality styles that everyone has, and how that impacts your business, especially in over-the-phone prospecting. Understanding the personality, how to adapt to them, some of the systems that we have in place at our team, how to remember, and even taking it a little bit further, understanding a little bit more about the communication part over the phone as well. And we're going to talk about some other kind of cool things, I think, too, what I call is like the secret sauce. And I think all of this stuff, understanding personality style and learning how to sell over the phone, and the 6 basic human needs, understanding what that's a little bit about, all this combined, kind of like a little bit of the secret sauce and some of the top producers' businesses that I've learned about over the years. And something that you really never really got to learn at an early age, or no one's ever taught me this until later on in my career.
Well, yeah, and I know that I find, like, with a lot of people that when we start talking about all these different ways to really communicate with them and understand what you're saying, when you're saying it, and why you're saying it, it gets overwhelming when you have so much. So it's really important as you go through that people realize you have to slowly implement all these things into doing this prospecting over time. I mean, you've been doing it for how many years?
Prospecting forever. I mean, I've always been an agent that's gone out and found business, but basically when I got involved in coaching was around year 2000, and since then I've never missed a day. So my team and I just prospect, lead generate every day. There's nothing that we don't do. So that's something that we've made, and I've made thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of contacts and calls, and so it's good.
And clearly you keep a great office environment. You got music going in the background for all your guys that are prospecting right now, probably, right?
Yeah, they're jamming right now.
I love it.
Too loud.
No, it's good. It's good. All right, so let's get into it. So talk about the 4 personality styles, and let's go into each one and how you're able to identify that personality, off the bat when you get on a call.
Yeah. So, the 4 personality styles that we've talked about, and there's different types of styles that people learn about, the DISC profile, and they learn about, the golden retriever style, and there's all kinds of different things out there. But the ones that I've always learned, what Mike Ferry's taught us, is about the 4, which would be the analytical style, the driver personality, the amiable, and the expressive. And so basically what I've learned is that that each one of us has their own basic personality style, and you can really only be one. Now, can you have versatility and be flexible and understand other personalities and adapt? Yes. And ultimately under pressure, which obviously a lot of times in the sales business we're under pressure a lot. So sometimes who you are as a salesperson, you could always be under pressure, so therefore that's not really your natural style. But as you become under pressure, you can sometimes adapt into a different one or become more of what you already are. So just understanding all of that. But so digging into it, basically the analytical personality style is someone that typically is structured. They're organized. They love facts. They love figures. They're a detailed type of person. They're slow in their decision making. They're perfectionists. They love procedures. And so, the analytical, one thing that we have right now in our office hanging on the walls is kind of a reference, and the person that we have that represents the analytical style up on our wall is Bill Gates. I don't know if you can see this or not, but I'll just show you a picture here on that look, right? So we have a picture of Bill Gates, and it says analytical, and it basically just says that the analytical's primary need is security and safety. They're disciplined. They have looks at situations in minute detail, low on emotion, facts, figures, details, needs to know to understand, dry, witty sense of humor, procedure-oriented. Someone who's like a Bill Gates, someone who's probably very structured and not always the geeky style. Can be anyone can be analytical, but that's kind of the person that is a little bit more slow in decision making, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what are you looking for, let's say, in the first 30 seconds when you get on the phone with someone to identify an analytical?
So
what are you listening?
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting about over the phone prospecting, what's interesting is understanding or being able to hear what they're not saying. I'll repeat that. So understanding and being able to hear what they're not saying. So when you get so good over the phone prospecting, you can start to hear what's going on without them actually saying it. Or they may say something that's embedded in what they're saying. They may say something like, for example, you know what, I'm really not interested in selling right now. Well, okay, so ultimately they're not interested in selling right now. So they're telling you they're not interested in selling, but is it important them not selling now, but they will in the future? And what level will they in the future? Sometimes people will just cut that off. Okay, you're not interested right now. Okay, good, thank you, hang up. But adding some additional questions, you're hearing something they're not saying. So that's just an overall observation.
Right.
As far as the analytical, what you're listening for is how they're going to make a decision. So you might ask some questions about, what's most important to you about the next agent you choose. And they're going to say, well, I want to know and see exactly your process. I want to know exactly what it is that you're going to do. And I just need to see how that you're going to do that step by step. So if someone's going to be that detailed and need to see all that, then I would adapt to them and say, when you and I get together and meet, I'm going to show you my step-by-step proven marketing plan and take you through to show you exactly what you're going to expect, the procedure that we follow from A to B to C to D, and show you how and what my team does. And if I can show you that exact plan and lay it out for you and you feel comfortable and confident, will you list with me? And you adapt to the way they want to be sold or what they need to make a decision on, and you hear that, then you know how to sell them. So that's what I would look for in the analytical. They're going to want to hear about your procedure, your details, and the figures and the facts. But also understand that the analytical is always searching for more information. They're always going to be searching more. So when you give them some, they're going to dig for more. They're not satisfied until they get enough information. So what I've learned is you've got to give them the information, and once you give all of the information, you need to let them know there is no more information, and it's time for them to make a decision. Because otherwise, if you don't put that on them, they're simply just going to continue to ask you for more information.
Got it.
Turn it down a little bit. Yeah. So, that's the analytical style. It's probably the most frustrating for me because I'm a driver. And I'm fast at making decisions and quick and results oriented, whereas the analytical is just they're not so much bottom line. They want to get information where I just make decisions quickly.
Yeah. So let's jump to the next one. We mentioned driver. Talk a little bit about a driver personality, and it's interesting because a lot of real estate agents and entrepreneurs are drivers, right? And how that matches up when you're working with another driver,
Yeah, I mean, it's what's interesting is a lot of people think that to be a very successful, high-pressure type salesperson or whatever it may be, that all these people are drivers. And the reality is, still only represent about 25% of them. There's still plenty of people that are the analytical, the Bill Gateses of the world. Instead of being the sergeant or someone who's just driven, there's plenty of other styles that are very successful. What you've noticed about a lot of the other successful people that you may not notice other drivers, what's so good about them is how versatile they are and how they can adapt to other people's style. But the driver, some of their personality and characteristics is they're all about action, results driven, oriented. They're controlling, forceful, dominant. Very much bottom line, it's one of those where, I really don't want to hear about the labor, just show me the baby. you know. Um,
Yeah, that's where Frank got that one. Ah, I never
exactly.
knew that. Yeah, yeah.
So, like on our wall, we've got this guy here. It's General Patton. All right, so
Yeah.
he represents that. You know, low on emotion, makes decisions quickly, values action and results, forceful, dominant, and many times intimidating. Bottom line, responds to things that are immediate and tangible, has the ability to get a lot done, and takes control. So, you know, the driver, a lot of times you're going to be in the middle of your script. You're going to be speaking, and all of a sudden they're going to say, okay, tell me, what is it? What can I get for my house? What am I going to net? What do I got to do?
Yeah.
What do you think you can get for it? I don't want to hear all that shit, right? What can you get for my house? That person just cuts through it and just says, boom, here it is. That's the driver. That's someone who you could then say to them, I appreciate that. You're going to get $495,000, and when I sell it, you're going to walk with $450. If I get you $450, will you sell it today? And they're going to make a decision. No, it's too low. Okay, good. What price will you sell for? I want $475. Good. $475 is the number you'll sell for, right? Yes. Then you can just go right to it, boom, like that. That's the driver. That's going to be the scenario. We're going to cut through it all, and you're going to hear them. And many times they're going to cut you short. They're not going to want to hear your story. They're not going to hear about, you know, what you're going to always do or this and the procedure. They just want to know the bottom line and the result of it all.
So you're gonna be able to pick up on that pretty quick. I feel like with someone, because they're gonna want you to get to the point at the beginning, even in that first 30 seconds.
Yes.
They may be interrupting you already to kind of move the conversation along, right?
Exactly. They can interrupt you, or you could ask them direct questions. They're going to answer you, and they're going to, a lot of times, they're going to be more dominant. So you can hear it in their voice. You can hear how they're coming at you and what their style is. If they're you know, they're going to be more controlling. When if you're a driver and if I'm a driver, you know, you can start to control. So someone's got to back off at some level, but just deliver what they want.
Right.
And, you know, being a driver.
Awesome. And then I want to jump in real quick. Hey guys, everyone that's watching, there's a Q&A there's little squares in the top right. Click on that and click the question answer. That box will pop up. You can ask questions to Jeff, and we'll get them answered throughout the Hangout. So Jeff, all right, so we're at driver. The next personality style is amiable. Talk to that a little bit.
Okay, so the amiable personality style is someone who is warm, friendly, agreeable. You know, they're supportive, they're soft-hearted, empathetic. They're not going to be so dominant like a driver. They're someone who is going to put others' feelings and wants ahead of their own. Someone who's going to be a giver, always and be concerned about how does that person feel about this, or how they react to that. So that's the amiable style. And we tease it. We got a couple amiables here on my team, and we kind of tease them a little bit about that, because the person that we have in our office, who is an amiable person, is this guy. If you remember who this guy is. You see that?
Yeah, Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers, right?
Right.
They're going to be high on emotional responses, warm, friendly nature, soft-hearted, agreeable, supportive, slow to make decisions, supportive, empathetic, avoids rejection, soft-spoken, and always smiling. So, the amiable personality style typically can be a really, really strong buyer's agent, because they always want to work with the buyers, make sure that they're out showing and they love the home and connect to them, on a soft-hearted way and caring about what their needs and wants are. But again, as a lot of times listing agents, you're prospecting, so you're getting rejected a lot. So sometimes they don't want to be able to confront or tell that seller specifically the right price, because they're afraid that maybe they're going to hurt their feelings, with regards to, their style. So the amiable person really needs to sometimes listen in and adapt to being a little bit more aggressive, if you will. The amiable typically is not aggressive.
Yeah, that's I think that's mainly my personality. I mean, I scored a very high I in a DISC assessment, which I think is similar to that. And over my sales training of years ago, I had to learn to be much more aggressive, and it was always a battle, because that's not my personality style. But I had to be very adaptive, and to make sure that I was to be good, basically, as a sales guy, So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. So when you're talking to someone on the phone, and getting back to prospecting again, what things are you looking for when you pick up on an amiable person? What will you hear, you think, when you're talking to someone to pick up on that personality?
There's going to be certain questions I think you can ask to trigger that, especially over the phone. And the amiable, maybe, once you hear them, you can a lot of times hear it in their voice and how they're responding to certain questions. But you might want to, an amiable will say, well, tell me more about that. And they might say, well, I really don't want to sell the house that low because, my neighbors are going to be mad at me, because if I list it for that, my next door neighbor is going to be mad. And they're like my best friends, and I really don't want, their house values to go down. So they're concerned about other feelings about them before, So you're going to have to ask them more about, so tell me more about that. How does that make you feel? What's important to you? These are questions could be asked to any basic personality style, and what the responses are is how you understand on what they are. But the amiable, when you're going to adapt them, you just always want to be about having them feel good about what it is they're making a decision on. So, if you're an amiable, like you, Scott, I would say, well, when you and I get together, we're going to go ahead and go over our marketing plan, and at the end of our meeting, you're going to feel so good about the decision you're going to make, because you'll know that you'll get your home sold at the right price, and then you'll be moved, back to, Jersey. So, I mean, if you feel good, yeah, and if you feel good about that, once we get to that point, are you okay then to go ahead and hire me? Because we'll feel good about it together. Fair enough?
That would work really well for me, Jeff. You just sold me.
There you go. So it's just going to be more of that laid back, about that, be supportive on them. If I come into an amiable as a driver and say, hey, listen, I'm going to meet you today at 4 o'clock, and we're going to go over the paperwork. You're going to go ahead and just sign that contract, and I'll go ahead and get started. All right, fair enough? But $499 is where we got to be. Are you okay to list at $499 today? You're going to
that feels a little weird for me. That is a big difference.
Yeah. So it's a little different approach,
Absolutely. Awesome. I love it. All right, so the fourth one is expressive.
Expressive, yeah. So expressive is someone who's going to be, kind of open, spontaneous, fast-moving, always rushing around. Typically never bored in any way. They're a lot of times they're late because they're so rushy. They're gregarious, if you will. Expressive is someone who's going to typically when they walk in the room, they kind of light up the room a little bit, And you can always see how expressive people are. Sometimes just by their outfits and the way they dress, The person we have hanging up in our office that's expressive is, see that there?
Yeah, Sir Elton.
Sir Elton, right. So, how he dresses, right? He's very, flamboyant, and he's out there in different colors and crazy, and, he's high on emotions. He does make decisions quickly. They express themselves openly. They're very impulsive. They're animated. They always appear to be rushing around. They like to be in the center stage. They can also do a lot of multiple tasks. They can do a lot of things at once. So expressive, they're the easy ones to figure out, because if you want to find out on a listing appointment or when you're pre-qualifying, you can just simply say to an expressive, so tell me a little bit about your house. Tell me what's so good about it, what's positive or negative that may affect the value. And they'll go on and on. Oh, you got to see the new kitchen we did, and the cabinets and the hardware we put on the house, and oh my God, the flooring we did here, and wait till you see the paint. And then you could just keep going on and on and say, oh my gosh, it sounds unbelievable. I can't wait to see it. Tell me more. What else did you do? You can't wait to see the backyard, what we did back there. And just hit them on all the things, let them express themselves. And if you
I bet you can hear the tonality, like their fluctuation, and their they're probably like very emotion is going through that phone, so you can kind of really hear it too, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean it's interesting. It's and a lot of people say, oh man, I want to be more of this. I want to be more of that. I'd like to be more of a driver. Or, I wish I could be that. And it's not about changing who you are. It's about changing the way you are to be more like who you want to be or who your prospect is. And
right.
It's about the level of versatility. And versatility, what Mike Fraser always taught us, is definition is the ability to adapt to a variety of people in a variety of ways, and the more versatile I am, the more you're going to help the client, and you're going to get more sales. Because for the first 12, 15 years of my business, I was always thought, hey, driver's the man. Driver's the way that I make decisions, and if you're not like me, then therefore I'm making you wrong. You know what I mean? I want everyone to be like me, because everyone thinks that you yourself is the best at what you do. No one's better than you. Your personality is the shit. And so the analytical feels the same way. Amiable does too, whichever it is. So until I really understood personality styles, it really helped our sales to adapt and then know how to start to dance with the client, and take them down that road.
Right. So let's get into that. I mean, I think that's one of the most important things, and that's where people get stuck. So let's go into the process of now we know you've talked a little bit to kind of determining what personality style they are. Take me through like how you mirror. You said mirror, match, and what was the third term?
Mimic, mirror, and match.
Yeah, mimic, mirror, match. Let's talk to that a little bit, because I think that's where you get stuck as a salesperson. You need to really train yourself to be able to be adaptive to every personality style, so that you can do more business and help them essentially too, right?
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I mean, one of the things that, especially in a resort market, I'm prospecting over the phone all the time. So you got to learn how to mimic, mirror, and match. And what that means basically is over the phone, you have pretty much less than about 3 to 5 seconds on the phone that capture someone's attention, or you need to be able to get them on your side very, very quickly, especially if they don't know you. And when you can mirror, mimic, and match someone, what that basically means is that if you can mirror them, you want to mirror their tonality. You want to mimic their rate of speech. You want to match some of the way of their speaking habits or way that they talk. And what I want you to understand is that, the way that, Scott, you grew up, the way your mother, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your entire family, when you're at home and you guys are together and you're all, your own little tribe, you all seem to have your own ways of speaking, right? You have your own little quirky things. It's kind of just the way you guys talk. So the way that you answer your phone, the way your dad answers the phone is very similar in a similar way, and it's just natural that, when you're in your own group. So the moment that when a stranger calls you over the phone and it doesn't sound familiar, automatically the horns go, rah, rah, it's just like alert, alert, this is a sales call, alert, this is someone trying to sell me something, whatever it may be, or it's someone who feels strange. So the quicker that you can start to adapt the way they even answer the phone will get you an immediate rapport. So you want to adapt so that you become in their tribe, okay? That's the whole key. Now, in over-the-phone prospecting, what I've learned as much from Matthew Ferry is about, when you're over the phone, you really have only about 6 total. You have 6 senses, obviously, right? But you're only communicating through one. You got see, touch, hear, feel, right? Taste, whatever, and you're speaking, right? So, so you're only able to deliver over the phone one specific sense, and that's, you're able to talk. And you're not able to show emotion. You're not able to see. There's no connection. You can't touch, feel, or taste. You can't see them, right? So not only are you only communicating at that point about 20% or less than 20%, 16% I think is what it would be, of communication with technology and the phone lines and everything else going today. It's not even transmitting all 16. It's only transmitting about 3 to 5% is what I'm told. So you've got to be that much more animated, that much more clear, because they're not actually hearing everything all the way through. They're hearing it, but not as clear as if you and I were talking, right?
Right. So that goes back to how important the tone is, right?
Yes. Yeah. So you got to learn the tone, the tonality, rate of speech, the way they answer the phone. So, for example, if let's just role play it real quick. So let's just say I'm calling you, and just answer the phone the way you normally would answer the phone. So ring, ring.
Hey, this is Scott.
Hey, Scott, this is Jeff.
How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing great. How about you? So
doing fantastic.
I would then right then, the moment I hear the way you answer the phone, the speed, the tonality, the way that you answer it, I would mimic it immediately, because then it feels and sounds to them like, oh, this is guys in my tribe. I know this, right? So we'll do it again, and then let's see how this feels. Ring, ring.
Hello, this is Scott.
Yeah, hi, Scott. This is Jeff Quinton, right? A little
Yeah,
different, right?
weird. Right.
Yeah. So if someone answers the phone, and they say hello, you're gonna want to say hello exactly the same way. If someone answers the phone, that's an Asian person with an accent, Indian, whatever it is, mimic them exactly the way they answer. Okay, you
Yeah.
got to do that. Now, you only need to do that for a certain period of time, maybe 5, 10, seconds or so in a little conversation. Once they hear that you're not, a stranger, and you feel, in their tribe, or you feel familiar, boom, now you can dance with them. It only takes that little bit. So that's just mimic a mirroring match right off the bat, and then through the whole entire process, if they have some type of, someone might say yeah-huh, or they might say uh-huh, or they might say yep, I get it, or yes, or yep, whatever it may be. You want to mimic them in the way that they respond, the response pattern, exactly the way, and then just continue to ask questions. And in the prospecting, you want to, obviously you want to repeat, affirm, and ask another question. Repeat, affirm, ask another question. And when you do all that, if you combine all of this together with mimic, mirror, matching, and listening to their personality style, combine it all together, you can dance with all these people and sell them all the time, over the phone, because they're going to feel comfortable. That is the key.
All right.
Also, one other thing to add in here. What does everyone know here? What the number one thing everyone in the world wants to be? The number one need, the number one whole thing is they want to be accepted, right? Everybody
Okay.
wants to feel accepted. So when you can get them to feel like you're accepting them, and then they accept you because of the communication over the phone, that's golden.
So yeah, so taking all of the stuff that we've covered, okay, in a short period of time, and I know the last thing we wanted to talk about is you said secret sauce, the 6 basic human needs. So taking all of what we do, if you can start adding that into your prospecting, and then add in, how do you add in this 6 basic human needs into there?
So quickly, the 6 basic human needs, and this is more going back to like a Tony Robbins thing that's come up with, and all humans have it. They said that if you can connect on 2 of the needs, you can definitely get in rapport. You connect on 3, you get a bond. And when you get a bond in a relationship, then you can sell, pretty much. So 6 human needs are: you've got certainty, where you need to feel obviously that you got to be certain of certain things, you got to know what's going on. You've got uncertainty. Uncertainty means that you like variety of some sort. You're going to have growth. You need to feel that you're growing in life. Okay. You're going to have love. Love is a human need. You feel that you feel love. Next need is significance. Okay. Understanding that you have to have some type of significance and feel that you're significant. And then what do we got? The 6th one, right? So we got certainty, uncertainty, growth. Oh, contribution. Okay, is the 6th one? Contribution.
Okay.
If you're contributing to something. These are the 6 human needs. So ultimately, over the phone, if you can start to identify what's important to them and their needs, and support them with that, which way that may be, and you provide them that need that they need or they feel with the personality style, with the mimic mirror matching, and you can meet 3 of their needs, frickin' you can sell anybody anything, and you can sell them for a long period of time. So, like human needs, for example, for me, I need to feel significant, right, in my life. I need to feel like someone's looking up to me. That's just one of the things I need. I need to feel significant. So, when someone's speaking to me, they might say, you know what, I really appreciate, you because of what you do, and make me feel that way, like I'm significant in their life, right? Then I'd feel good about it. Everyone's needs are different. But if you can match them, 2 of them, great. 3 of them, you can create a bond. And understanding what they are, study them, and then try to figure out through questions. You might say to somebody in a transaction, you might say something like, so tell me, how would you like me to communicate to you in this transaction, and what is it that you're going to need from me? And they might say, you know what, I just need to feel, and they'll tell you how, and you can get that out of them. And then you can just start to match them with that need. So it's kind of cool.
That's awesome, man. I love it. And Jeff, I really appreciate you. You're so fantastic. Thank you for having me on this hangout. I love learning from you. We got a few minutes left, guys. People that are watching, if you want to ask some quick questions, feel free, and we'll get them answered. It's up in the right corner. You just click on those little squares there, and the question answer will come up. So any last advice for the people that are learning this prospecting technique right now on maybe where to start and kind of go through to really learn this and implement this when they're on the phone?
You know, a real easy way to start is understanding this. Here's what we have written down all over the place, and there's I'll give you some initials. And you guys may have heard these before, but initials MMFI. So like Mary Frank iPod, okay? MMFI, and you know what that stands for?
No.
Okay. So make me feel important.
Okay.
Make me feel important, okay? Everyone wants to feel important. So if you have that in front of you, write that down, put it on a sticky note, refer to that, make them feel important, right? Also, everyone has the other initials, WIIFM. So that stands for, again, WIIFM. That's like William, iPod, Frank, Mary. That stands for what's in it for me. Everybody you talk to is always about make them feel important, and they just want to know what's in it for them, right? So, outside of personality styles and all that, if you can just prospect and make them feel important and deliver to them what's in it for them, that's the first part, understanding what's behind it. Then I would say next is just understanding the personality styles, at a deeper level, and start playing a game. Figure out, what is your spouse? What is your kids? Start trying to figure out, look at those personality styles, maybe rewind this and hear about the characteristics of who they are. But identify yourself, I guess, first. What style am I? Say, what style am I? And then try to figure out who else around you, what their styles are, and start to try to play the game and figure it out and communicate to them. If you're out to dinner, if you're in line somewhere at the grocery store, wherever it may be, a waitress, waiter, start to communicate to them right away on their style. Ask a couple questions if a waiter comes to the table or waitress. So tell me, what's the best thing on the menu? If it's a driver, it's the 8-ounce filet. That's it. Nothing else. If it's an expressive, they're going to go on and on about 10 different things, right? If it's the amiable, well, I really don't like to make decisions for you because I don't want to hurt your feelings. Got it? So understanding, play that game in their world, and that'll be the first start. Start practicing on it. But just be aware of it.
Got it. Awesome. Well, Norm Andrews asked a question. It's not really relevant to what we've been talking about, but do you have a source for email lists? Maybe, Norm, you can, Jeff, if someone wants to reach out and has specific questions about what you're doing to, build your business, what's a good email for them to reach out to you at?
Send to Jeff at jeffquinton.com.
Got it. So, Norm, if you have other questions, like in relation to how Jeff's building prospecting lists and what he's doing to generate leads, that'd be a good way to reach out to him and get that answered, okay? Jeff, anything you want to say to the people that are watching? We got the holidays coming up. We're going to be back next year. We're going to keep doing, what's working for Jeff Quinton, because Jeff is amazing at what he does, and he puts his heart and soul into his business and the people around him and his community. So we're going to keep talking about your success so that you can help more people.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
That's how I learn through this kind of stuff. I would just say that this understanding personality styles, prospecting over the phone, all these little things we talked about today, I just learned from other people and just sharing it, and I implemented it. But that's the key, man. There's a lot of little people say, "Oh my God, this guy's a great salesperson." Everyone can do that. It's just learning the techniques of what's going on here. This is the little nuggets people don't see.
Right. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. What's working for me? Live hangout, Jeff Quinton. We'll be back in a month. Have a happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah. Happy holidays, everyone.
All right.